ang kwento ni Lola Tasha. Nakikilala niyo ba si Sara Duterte? Siya ang dating DepEd Secretary at Vice Presidente ng Pilipinas. Siya lang naman ang tinaguriang isang kaibigan. Ngunit sa paglipas ng panahon ay maraming kumakwestiyon sa kanyang pagiging isang kaibigan. Naalala ng mga tao ang kanyang panununtok sa isang sheriff na gumawa lang naman ng kanyang trabaho. Ito ay inupakan, pinagsusuntok ni Sara Duterte. Maraming mga nagalit at marami rin naman ang natuwa sa kanyang ginawa. Sa paglipas ng mga araw, ang isang kaibigan na si Sara ay lalo pang pinikwestiyon ng mga tao kung siya na ba talaga ay isang tunay na kaibigan. Inilabas niya ang kanyang libro na isinulat na may pamagat na isang kaibigan. Ito lang naman ay nagkakahalaga ng milyon-milyon. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, kung naaalala pa ng aking matandang memorya, ito ay nasa 10 bilyon. Tama nga ba? Bahala na kayo. Kung mali, kayo na ang magtama. Mga kababayan, ito isang kaibigan. Lumabas ang tunay na kulay na hindi pala siya kaibigan, kundi isang matinding kaaway. Sa isang press con, kanyang pinagbantaan ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas na kanyang ichuchugi at ang First Lady ay ichuchugi din niya at ang Speaker ng House of the Representative.
Ang ina ninyong lahat! Martin Romualdez, Lisa Marcos, Bongbong Marcos!
Mga kaibigan, isang kakagimbal na pangyayari. Dahil mula noong ako ay bata pa, hindi ako nakakita ng isang vice-presidente na nag-hire ng assassin.
Huwag ka mag-alala, ma'am, sa security ko. Kasi may kinausap na ako na tao. Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Caraneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke. No joke. Nagdilin na ako, ma'am. Pag namatay ako, sabi ko, huwag ka tumigil na hanggang hindi mo mapatay sila. And then he said yes.
Ngayon, iniisip ng mga tao na ang nagpapanggap, nagpapakilala na isang kaibigan ay isa palang kaaway. Bago niya pagbandaan ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas, ay sinabi niya muna sa kanyang mga drug me to hell press con na nais daw niyang pugutan ng ulo ang Pangulo. Inimagine daw niya sa kanyang isipan na ito ay kanyang pinugutan ng ulo.
Bago ko tanggalin ang ulo mo, yung batang yan, yan yung magpapakamatay para sa bayan natin. Yan yung batang yan, ang mapuputulan ng daliri diyan sa fiasco ninyo sa West Philippine Sea. And then, I got his hand.
At sinabi rin niya na huhugayin daw niya ang bangkay ng dating Pangulo ng Pilipinas at itatapon sa West Philippine Sea.
Sabi ko sa kanya, kung hindi kayo tumigil, huhukayin ko yung tatay ninyo. Itatapon ko siya sa West Philippine Sea. Sinabihan ko Senator Amy, one of these days, pupunta ako dun, kukunin ko yung katawan ng tatay nyo, tapon ko yan dun sa West Philippine Sea. I don't think sumagot siya. Hindi ko maalala. Nandun pa yun sa group chat. Merong mga nakakita. May ibang tao.
Mga kababayan, tila ang kanyang pagpapakilala na isang kaibigan ay naudlot dahil nakita, napatunayan ng sambayan ng Pilipino na siya ay isang kaaway at hindi kaibigan.
Tanong.
Message na lang po, ma'am. Kung may meron kayong message sa taong bayan.
Very hopeless. Hopeless. Sabi ko, we are on the road to hell. This country will go nowhere. I'm telling you. Walang papupuntahan itong bayan na ito.
Nakita natin, napanood ang kanyang pag-meltdown kung saan pinagmumura niya ang ating Pangulo, ang unang ginang at ang Speaker of the House.
Putang ina ninyong lahat! Martin Romualdez, Lisa Marcos, Bongbong Marcos!
Kaya, kung ako ang inyong tatanungin, etong si Sara ay hindi kaibigan, kundi isang kaaway. Isang kaaway hindi lamang ng kanyang kapwa politiko, kundi ng buong bayan. Mga kaibigan, ito ang uri ng politiko na hindi dapat maupo sa katungkulan dahil kapag nangyari yun ay lagot ang mga Pilipino. Walang kagatul-gatul. Tayo ay kanyang ichuchugi. Ang dating kaibigan na yun ay isa ng kaaway.
September 4, 2023 nang unang questionin ng Senate Finance Committee ang Confidential and Intelligence Fund ng Office of the Vice President.
One of my main subjects of debate with the OVP na yung Confi and Intel funds ay mas properly lodged talaga dun sa ibang line items ng opisina mismo o sa mga intelligence agencies talaga.
Samantala, sa pagbalangkas ng Kongreso sa General Appropriations Bill noong September 25, 2023.
Madam Speaker, ayon din sa mga nakaraang usapin, lumalabas na ginastos ng OVP ang halagang 125 million sa labing siyam na araw, 19 days lamang, na mukhang napakaiksing panahon, Madam Speaker.
Hindi po ito nagastos sa loob ng 19 days kung hindi 11 days po.
Ginamit ang pondo mula December 21, 2022 hanggang December 31, 2022. Dito na rin unti-unting naungkat ang mga liquidation discrepancy tulad ng mga maanumalyang voucher at pagbabayad ng 16 million sa mga safe house sa loob din ng 11 araw. Dahil din dito, isinulong ng Kongreso ang pag-reallocate ng Confidential and Intelligence Fund ng ilang ahensya kabilang ang sa OVP sa mga government agencies na nagbabantay sa West Philippine Sea. November 9, 2023, sa Senate Budget Deliberation, tuluyan ang inurong ng Office of the Vice President ang paghingi ng confidential fund.
We're in receipt of a statement from the Vice President we discussed earlier, and according to her, they will no longer pursue the CIF or CF.
Makalipas ang halos isang taon, noong August 27, 2024, sinimulan na ang budget briefing ng Committee on Appropriations sa 2025 budget ng Office of the Vice President. Dito na binalikan ng mga mambabatas ang mga katanungan hinggil sa confidential fund ng OVP.
So according to the utilization of the confidential and intelligence fund submitted by the COA, total of 125 million, conducted surveillance in 132 areas in 11 days. So 100% utilization.
I will forgo the opportunity to defend the budget of the Office of the Vice President through a question and answer. And I will leave it to the House to decide on the budget submitted.
Since ayaw magpaliwanag ang BP, so ibig sabihin nito, yung paggastos ng 125 million ay na pera ng taong bayan ay hindi maipaliwanag. Hindi pwede yung ganyan na yung tactics na ganyan na parang parang sorry for the pusit, na kapag nasusukol na ang pusit ay nagaano ng maitim na tinta. So ayaw natin ng ganun, Madam Chair, kasi yung atin namang pinag-uusapan dito ay budget.
I request that the chairperson of the Finance Committee preside over this hearing.
With due respect, you are not allowed to do that.
This is about transparency and accountability, and it doesn't exempt the office of the Vice President.
Natapos ang pagdinig nang hindi naresolba ang mga katanungan sa Confidential and Intelligence Fund.
She may not like my answer. She may not like how I answer. She may not like the content of my answer. But I am answering.
September 10, 2024, sa ikalawang budget briefing ng Committee on Appropriations, walang dumalo mula sa Office of the Vice President.
Madam Chair, so ibig sabihin wala po ni isa na dumating from the Office of the Vice President para sumagot ng mga tanong ng ating mga colleagues, Madam Chair.
That is correct.
But Madam Chair, she is accountable to the people and she has this sworn duty to the Constitution, being the head of the agency, to be here.
September 18, 2024, nagbukas ng investigasyon ang House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability. Dumalo si Vice President Sara Duterte, gayunman,
Ang nasa rules ninyo, witnesses lang po ang nag-o-oath. Wala po kayong rules sa resource persons.
Please your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the statements you will give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
di rin niya tinapos ang pagdinig.
I request to leave the inquiry.
Ma'am, pwede naman po, considering na hindi naman din po kayo naka-oath and alam naman po namin marami rin po kayong ginagawa. The Vice President is excused.
September 25, 2024, hindi dumalo ang Vice Presidente sa pangalawang araw ng investigasyon kung saan lumabas ang ilang aligasyon.
In fiscal year 2023, the OVP received ₱500 million in confidential funds. Sa 500 million po, halos 10% lamang po ang pinayagan ng COA. Paulit-ulit po at parang kinapi-paste ang liquidation ng confidential funds ng OVP. Ano po yung laman netong siyam na envelope na to?
It's 50,000 pesos. I-turn over ko na yung envelope. The envelopes where the money was. It says hope and the amount is there.
October 17, muling hindi sumipot ang top officials ng DepEd. Napilitan ng mga kongresista na isabi na ang mga ito. Lumabas muli sa hearing ang questionabling paggamit ng confidential funds ng OVP.
In 11 days, ang nagastos po nila sa safe houses is 16 million.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
November 5, 2024, sa panlimang pagkakataon, hindi sumipot ang mga dating opisyal ng OVP at DepEd sa hearing.
612.5 million ang kabuang halaga ng confidential fund ang ibinigay sa OVP and DepEd sa loob ng 2 taon.
Nabunyag naman ang mga kahina-hinalang acknowledgement receipts na isnumite ng OVP at DepEd.
The name would read, tama po ba? Mary Grace Piatos. Sa tingin mo, totoong tao yan?
November 11, 2024, apat lamang sa siyam na inimbitahang opisyal ng OVP at DepEd ang sumipot sa pagdinig. Apat sa kanila na cite in contempt.
The testimony of Zuleika Lopez is so crucial on this investigation. They can always run, but they cannot hide anymore, Mr. Chairman.
November 20, 2024, mas lumalim ang naging pagsuri sa acknowledgement receipts, partikular ang kay Mary Grace Piatos at Cocoy Villamin. Naditin na naman ang dating Chief of Staff ni Duterte sa DepEd na si Zuleika Lopez.
But I need my lawyers to be present.
Sana
November 25, 2024, pinalawig pa ng 5 araw ang contempt order laban kay Lopez.
I move, Mr. Chair, that the period of detention of Attorney Lopez be 10 days instead of 5 days.
You need to reconsider that extension of your detention. It was illegal in the first place.
Nagisa si Acosta tungkol sa proseso ng encashment at disbursement ng confidential funds ng OBP hanggang sa humiling na itong matinhan ng doktor dahil sa kanyang presyon.
We excuse Gina Acosta para po ma-check po siya.
I understand,
ng mas
Mr.
maigi
Chair.
sa clinic.
Nagpaalam na rin si Duterte at nangakong dadalo sa susunod na pagdinig ng komite.
Gina Acosta was rushed to the emergency room. May I ask permission to join her? Okay, I'll join you in the next year. Thank you.
Ngayong Lunes, gaganapin ang pagdinig ng House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability sa paggamit ng confidential fund ng Office of the Vice President at DepEd. Inaasahang ang resulta ng mga pagdinig na ito ay magiging bahagi ng legislative agenda ng Kongreso sa susunod na taon.
1 minute. 1 minute. Suspension is declared by the chair.
I just want to reiterate, while it has been said repetitively already, that our ultimate objective here in conducting this inquiry in aid of legislation is to be able to enhance existing laws, come up with new ones if the need are determined, Mr. Chair. Nevertheless, we cannot brush aside, certainly, all the abuses and infractions that we have identified during the course of our inquiry in aid of legislation. And in addition to the offenses which have been raised already by our esteemed colleagues, I wish to add perjury. Perjury can be committed orally or in writing. If it is orally, the perfect example or illustration, I believe, are misrepresentations during inquiry in aid of legislation. We often hear this: you will be committing perjury because all resource persons in inquiry in aid of legislation and even in all forms of investigation, we place them under oath. At ang lahat ng pagsisinungaling while under oath, we call it perjury. Again, the best illustration of an oral perjury are those committed by resource persons appearing in this investigation while making several misrepresentations. However, Mr. Chair, when it comes to written perjury, I wish to break down the elements of this offense so we can better illustrate how this is determined. And talking about elements, Mr. Chair, as we can see from the screen, there must be a sworn statement. It must be made under oath. The statement contains deliberate assertion of falsehood, and a false declaration is with regard to material fact. Mr. Chair, in the course of our investigation, the special disbursing officers, sina Ginoong Edward Fajarda at Ginang Gina Acosta, have plainly asserted na wala raw silang alam kung saang mga aktibidad ang pinaglaanan ng confidential funds. Can we please flash the certifications? Ayon sa kanila, basta-basta lang raw nila sinunod ang utos sa kanila ng ating Vice Presidente na ipasa ang confidential funds in the total amount of 612.5 million pesos, lagpas, Mr. Chair, sa kalahating bilyon sa ibang tao na siya raw na mahala at nag-disburse nito. Pagkatapos ay ipinasa lang din ng mga SDO sa COA ang mga accomplishment reports at ang mga acknowledgement receipts na ibinigay sa kanila. Pero hindi nila alam kung totoo ang nakasulat sa accomplishment reports kung totoo or peke ang mga acknowledgement receipts at kung saan talaga ginamit ang pera. We have witnessed this, Mr. Chair, during the interpellation of SDO Edwin Fajarda of the Department of Education, as well as SDO Gina F. Acosta of the OVP. After they testified na ipinasa nila sa mga security officer ng Vice Presidente ang pera, wala ka nang makuhang impormasyon because they kept on giving an answer. Wala silang alam dahil ang kabuuan ng halaga ay ibinigay nila sa mga security officers. Ito pong certifications, Mr. Chair, is the perfect illustration of a written perjury. Halimbawa ng tinatawag natin na written statement made under oath. It is a basic principle that even first-year law students know that a statement made before a notary public, notario publico, is a statement made under the risk of perjury. In other words, Mr. Chair, when we talk about perjury, that includes the documents which were notarized by notary publics, sworn to before notary publics, similar to the certification that we are currently flashing on the screen. Now, let us look closer at what these certifications say. Ano po ba ang nilalaman ng mga certification na ito? Number 1, yung expenses where the confidential funds were supposedly spent on were incurred in connection with the agency's intelligence and or confidential operations and activities. I wish to reiterate, paano po malalaman ng ating mga special disbursing officers whether the first certification is indeed correct if they simply handed the money to the security officers? The second content, yung mga pinaggastosan raw ng confidential funds ay necessary and utilized for legal purposes. Again, Mr. Chair, how will they certify to this fact when they are totally unaware about the activities where the confidential funds were allegedly spent? Third, alam raw nila na hindi napunta ang funds sa mga gastusing ipinagbabawal sa confidential funds, kagaya ng payment of salaries and wages, overtime, allowances, or fringe benefits. Mr. Chair, I wish to raise, there is one common answer coming from our SDOs. Wala silang alam dahil ang pera ay ibinigay sa mga security officers. Fourth certification, any equipment purchased was supposedly relevant to the confidential and or intelligence activities. Mr. Chair, suffice it to say that the SDOs are totally unaware of how the confidential funds were spent, primarily because they were not the one who disbursed the same. E paano po nila patututuhanan ang nilalaman ng mga certifications na ito? Certifications which were sworn to before a notary public. To emphasize, Mr. Chair, and as seen from one of the certifications, which our Secretariat is showing right now, our Vice President and SDO Acosta signed and certified this certification before the notary public, and that is Attorney Abella. Ano po ba ang sabi ng mga SDO? We all learned from the hearing on November 25 that while SDO Acosta did encash the check, according to her, wala po siyang alam kung saan napunta yung confidential funds kasi po ito ay turn over sa VP SPG. Mr. Chair, this is totally, if not completely, contradictory to the contents of the certification. It's the exact same story for Mr. Fajarda of DepEd, Mr. Chair. Sabi po nila, Ms. Acosta at Mr. Fajarda, sa ating pagdinig na hindi talaga nila alam kung saan ginastos ang pera. In other words, malay po ba nila kung napunta nga ba sa intelligence or confidential operations and activities ang pera. Malay po ba nila kung totoo yung mga pinagsasasabi na accomplishment report, liquidation report, and most importantly, certification? But they signed it, Mr. Chair. They signed them under oath. This means, Mr. Chair, that Ms. Acosta and Mr. Fajardo did not only violate the joint circular, they also lied under oath dito sa kanilang certification. They did this not just once, not just twice, but thrice for Mr. Fajardo. And for Ms. Acosta, I have to state, she did it 4 times. Paulit-ulit silang nagsinungaling sa kanilang certifications, Mr. Chair. The next offense that I wish to raise, Mr. Chair, corruption of public officers. Simply stated, Mr. Chair, sa isang korupsyon or anomalya, may isang nanunuhol at may isang sinusuhulan. The offense committed by the author of corruption is Article 212, that is corruption of public officers. On the assumption, Mr. Chair, na tinanggap ang suhol, then the offense committed by the one who received the money, we call it bribery. Let us discuss first bribery, Mr. Chair. Ano ang elements ng bribery? There must be a public officer. The accused is a public officer. He received directly or through another some gift or present. The receipt was in consideration of his commission of some crime, and that relates to the exercise of his function as a public officer. Of course, kailangang ma-mention ang mga krimen ng mga nagsuhol at mga nagpasuhol. Ito po ang mga elements ng bribery. Malamang lahat ng mga tao na naimbestigahan natin ay public officials who receive amounts of not just any money, but possibly of confidential funds as well. Corruption of public officers. Siyempre, kung may mga tumatanggap ng suhol, may mga nagsusuhol. Sila naman po ay magiging liable sa krimen ng corruption of public officers. Again, Mr. Chair, for clarity, ang nanuhol ay liable sa corruption of public officers. Ang tumanggap ng suhol, they are liable for bribery. Ibig sabihin, may isang special krimen para sa nagsusuhol ng mga public officials. Tingnan po natin, parehas lamang ang penalty na ini-impose sa mga nagsusuhol at sinusuhulan as provided under Article 212. Except, of course, disqualification and suspension, because these two penalties apparently apply only to public officials. Kaya naman, ang bribery at corruption of public officers ay ang pagbibigay ng pera, regalo, o kahit anumang advantage or favor sa pamamagitan ng pag-abuso ng kanyang posisyon sa gobyerno. Kindly flash the next screen. Let's all recall what we discovered from the committee investigations. May mga empleyado sa DepEd na tumanggap ng white envelopes in the same period within the confidential funds for DepEd were released. Hindi po ba kahina-hinala yan? And you can see from the screen, OVP executive admits inamin handing cash envelopes to DepEd officials. Next slide, please. We may recall, it was former USEC Gloria Mercado who first revealed to us that she received 9 envelopes with 25,000 in a span of 9 months. Ito'y ibinigay ni Sunshine Fajardo ang mga envelopes kay Yusek Mercado at sinabi na galing ito sa Vice Presidente Sara Duterte. Malinaw na ang ganitong pagkakataon ay hindi normal. Hindi normal na ang boss ay nagbibigay bigla ng sobre na may 25,000 each for 9 months to her very own head of procurement. Anyone can easily conclude that this is not merely out of generous heart of VP Duterte, but was precisely given in attempt to influence Yusek Mercado, to which she failed to do. And we may recall, Mr. Chair, during our interpellation with Yusek Gloria Mercado, she admitted believing that those envelopes were given to her to influence her decision as Hope. Next slide, please. It was not a surprise when former Chairman Resty Osayas, this is our second DepEd official, he is the chairman of DepEd Bids and Awards Committee. He admitted siya rin ay nakatanggap ng sobre na may laman na pera. Again, another key official in the procurement process of the DepEd. And yet again, another act of corruption plaguing in the DepEd. Yung nauna, Mr. Chair, Yusek Mercado, she was the hope of DepEd. And this time, we have Chairman Resty Osayas, Chairman of DepEd Bids and Awards Committee. Both admitted having received envelopes with money inside. Next slide, please. Of course, sino pong makakalimot sa ating Chief Accountant ng DepEd, Ms. Runa Catalan. Like former Yusek Mercado, like Mr. Osayas, Ma'am Catalan received the same number of envelopes containing the same amount of money in the same period of February to September 2023. Again, another key official in the DepEd who necessarily deals with the public funds of the DepEd was blinded by an alleged gift from VP Duterte. But it was later on revealed that she was requested by Sunshine Fajardo, the very person who handed her the envelopes, to sign the liquidation reports without its supporting documents. Again, corruption prevailed. Mr. Chair, in line with the issue of bribery and corruption, I wish to manifest that there is a chance that the three key officials of DepEd, who I previously mentioned, Yusek Mercado, Mr. Osayas, Ms. Catalan, were not only employees of DepEd who received envelopes with cash. I believe that it is only a matter of time. And I hope that light be shed on this alarming revelation. Tayo po'y naniniwala na hindi lamang ang tatlong opisyales na ito ang tumanggap ng envelope na may lamang pera mula sa ating Vice Presidente. Ultimately, Mr. Chair, ating nakitaan na maaring ikaso mula sa ating mga nadinig sa ating komite rito ay ang violation ng plunder sa ilalim ng Republic Act 7080 as amended. Ang basis po natin ay lahat ng mga nakalap na impormasyon patungkol sa paggasta di umano ng OVP at ng Department of Education ng confidential funds sa ilalim ng pamumuno ng ating Vice Presidente. Mapapansin po natin na wala pong naipakita na ebidensya kung saan totoong napunta talaga ito. Pinatutunayan lang ng mga opisinang ito sa pamamagitan ng acknowledgement receipts na atin namang napansin ng napakaraming anomalya. Pareho ang sulat, pareho ang pirma, pareho ang tinta ng ballpen. Ang impossibility na ito ay na-disburse ayon sa dami ng resibo sa iisang araw lamang. At isama na din po natin ang mga nadiskubre nating pangalang Mary Grace Piatos at Kokoy Villamin na napatunayan na nawala sa database ng Philippine Statistics Authority. Ang isang konklusyon na aming nakikita sa mga ito ay hindi tunay, pineke lamang ang mga ito upang maipamukha lamang na ginasta ito para sa surveillance activities upang magamit ang pondong ito sa ibang kagamitan o pansariling interes. Ano nga ba ang plunder, Mr. Chair? Sa ilalim po ng Section 2 ng ating Anti-Plunder Act, nakasaad dito, any public officer who by himself or in connivance with members of his family, relatives by affinity or consanguinity, business associates, subordinates, or other persons, amasses, accumulates, or acquires ill-gotten wealth through a combination or series of overt or criminal acts in the aggregate amount or total value of at least 50 million pesos. Nakasaad din rito na ang penalty ng paglabag ay reklusyon perpetua na may katumbas na 20 years and 1 day hanggang 40 years. I wish to add, Mr. Chair, na ito pong kasong ito, considering the penalty of reklusyon perpetua is non-payable. Kalakip din po ng penalty na ito ang perpetual absolute disqualification, which includes deprivation of such person from holding public office and employment kahit pa manalo sa eleksyon. Kaya naman, Mr. Chair, ang plunder sa madaling salita ay ang pagnanakaw ng pera mula sa kaban ng bayan na may halaga na higit sa 50 million pesos sa pamamagitan ng paggawa ng ibang krimen. Next slide, please. Kung makikita po natin sa ating screen, mayroong total na 7 umaabot sa 612 million 500,000 pesos. Ang 4 na cheque ay mula sa OVP, umabot ng 500 million pesos, at ang 3 pang cheque ay mula sa DepEd na nagkakahalaga naman ng 112 million 500,000 pesos. Mr. Chair, ang nabanggit na halaga 612 million 500,000 pesos lagpas sa 50 million pesos na required para sa kasong plunder. Ang mga checking ito ay lahat nakapangalan kay Ms. Gina Acosta bilang Special Disbursing Officer ng DepEd. Inamin niya sa atin na imbis na i-disburse niya ito as confidential expenses, ay sinunod ang utos ng Vice Presidente na ibigay ang pera sa kanyang security officer. Dito naman po sa Department of Education, ang payee sa mga cheque ay ang Special Disbursing Officer Edward Fajarda, former Special Disbursing Officer of DepEd. Inamin rin niya na nung nakaraang hearing na ang perang kanyang natatanggap ay kanyang ibinibigay sa security officer sa utos din ng ating Vice Presidente. Mr. Chair, I wish to show the breakdown of the confidential funds which were received both by DepEd and OVP. For OVP, Mr. Chair, for clarity, we have 125 million, that is last quarter of 2022, and then 125 million for the first, second, third quarters of 2023, total of 375. So 2022, which is 125, and 2023, which is 375, that is 500 million in total confidential funds utilized by the Office of the Vice President, Mr. Chair. For DepEd, Mr. Chair, I understand that this were utilized during the first 3 quarters of 2023, 37,500,000 each for the first, second, and third quarter of 2023, which totaled to 112 million pesos confidential fund utilized by the Department of Education. In total, Mr. Chair, ang kabuang halaga po na ating naimbestigahan pertaining to the utilization of confidential fund is 612,500,000 pesos. Napakalaki at nakakalula. And to be very candid, Mr. Chair, ilang bata na sana ang ating napakain. Ilang bata na sana ang ating napaaral. At ilang pamilya na sana ang ating nabigyan ng bahay. Mr. Chair, considering that the amounts involved here far surpass the threshold for plunder, na mas kilala bilang pandarambong it is my humble position na dapat po talaga ay maipagpatuloy at mapalalim pa ang investigasyon upang malaman kung sino ang nakinabang sa perang ito. Such an investigation may not be for Congress to conduct anymore. Again, our ultimate purpose here is to legislate. Such an investigation, however, we will ensure will be conducted, Mr. Chair. Hindi po basta-basta ang mga pangyayaring natuklasan natin rito. Finally, Mr. Chair, ayon po sa isang Supreme Court decision, this is Macapagal Arroyo versus People, GR numbers 220598 and 220953, dated July 19, 2016. On the crime of plunder, napag-usapan po dito ng Supreme Court ang will, conspiracy na nagaganap in the commission of plunder. Kaya kung may pagpapatuloy po ang investigasyon, maigi pong matingnan kung sino po ba ang hub, sino ang mga spokes, ilang conspiracy po ba ang ating pinag-uusapan. In other words, Mr. Chair, we will look forward that as the other agencies conduct an in-depth investigation on this, we will look forward sino ang hub, sino ang sentro, sino ang nakikinabang dito sa alleged will conspiracy na ito. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Jinky Luistro.